Now, what is the price of freedom? Well, in France, it's 135 euros or 9,000 euros for repeat offenders who do not carry their health pass. As of this week across the channel, you will need one of their passes to be able to attend cafes, restaurants, bars and travel long distances. And the scenes are dystopian and disturbing.
Contrôlez vos passes sanitaires, s'il vous plaît. Voilà. Avec une pièce d'identité, s'il vous plaît.
That's not what police should be doing. The health pass proves you have either been vaccinated, have tested negative, or have recovered from recently having COVID. But French citizens have protested all over the country for the last 4 weekends, and the backlash is set to continue. Alex Dean, what do you make of it?
First time I've seen that, and it's absolutely awful footage. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world that you see. I was in Brussels when the army was on the streets after terror attacks in Brussels, and that is worse. But that was for a real cause, right? The army
and that's what we want
was an enormous threat.
Focusing on, right?
And this is not a real threat, and it's in a free society. All I can say is that Paris is on the list of places I want to go to when this stuff was over, or at least it used to be.
Benjamin?
I mean, look, the French are always protesting. I don't think there should be any surprise. They've had 4 weeks of protesting. I don't think they ever stopped protesting. But look, do I think you should need it?
The loss of their civil liberty.
The video that we saw there was people sat outside. You don't get past COVID sat outside, so I don't see any reason to do that. Do I think it's a useful way for police to do it rather than the people that run the shops? I think it would be better if the cafe owner or, the staffer did it.
But do I agree with the COVID passports? Yes, I do. Investigating terrorism, burglaries, robbing, muggings, because there's a lot of crime in Paris, believe me.
Of course, absolutely. I totally agree. And I have watched this video several times now, and I found it chilling and frightening. These are people sitting outside in the fresh air in the summer.
And it's happening all over the world.
Yeah, show me the statistics that prove you can get COVID.
But if you're going to go into a busy area, you should have to prove you've had your vaccination.
Oh, says a man that goes to nightclubs without wearing a mask. No.
And I would get a negative test before going in there, and I think that should be the bar. I think it should be higher. You should have to have had your 2 jabs or to prove that you're negative of COVID at the time.
For once, I'm with the French on this. They actually should be protesting, and I hope to hell this doesn't come in.
Why are you defending the anti-vaxxers?
Oh, they're not anti-vaxxers.
They are.
And do you know what? That's what you do, and you know you're doing it, and it's destructive, because I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I've had both vaccinations.
Good.
And believe me, I'm very much against these passes. I'm furious with people like you that say that the protesters are anti-vaxxers.
They are anti-vaxxers.
Dystopian vaccine passports. They're anti-enforced vaccinations and coercion. They're completely different things. And if you want to live in a biosecurity state, go right ahead. But I won't.
I'm sorry. People that don't get the vaccine shouldn't have all their liberties restored, because we had the whole of society, the whole of the world
some people
put
that
down.
can't have the vaccine.
And that's why it's so
discriminate like that.
That's why it's so important that the people who can get it, because they're going to so reduce the spread and reduce the risk for the people who medically cannot.
There's a huge difference between being anti-vaxxer and anti-vaccine passport.
Yeah. There's a considerable overlap. All of the anti-vaxxers are anti-vaccine passport. As far as I'm concerned, if you don't get the vaccine, you stay at home. The rest of us should going to go out and have a fun time and get our lives back.
Outrageous.
The type of society that you want, Benjamin, is not a type of society I want to live in.
A safe and healthy one without COVID.
You have no right to ask my health status, and neither does anyone in authority. That's not the sort of state that we live in. It's none of your damn business.
It is the damn business of people that want to go out, people who can't have the jab and so are vulnerable, clinically exempt from getting it. They should know that they're surrounded by people that have taken their health seriously. I think it's a values judgment for people that refuse to get the vaccine. Do you want people to stay home if they're morbidly obese? Do you want people to stay home?
No,
I want them to stay home if they refuse the vaccine when they can have it.
That's the society you're opening up.
The society that I want would be opened up, because you get rid of COVID when everyone's had the vaccine, and you get rid of anyone getting seriously sick from it.
Do you think it's perfectly acceptable to go up to a stranger and ask for their medical history, their vaccine status?
I don't want their medical history. I think most people in this country, and the polling shows this, understand that COVID is unique. This is a unique situation, and you can say, it's pushing the boundaries, who knows where it'll go next. I don't want it to go anywhere next. I just want to know that you've had your vaccines if you're going to go out in a crowded area or if you're going to work with me. You know, I wouldn't have someone who hasn't had the vaccine in my house. They'd be banned.
But you haven't asked Alex or I, and we're sitting next to you on a sofa.
It's a peculiar position to take about not wanting people in your home, but I was sitting out that one out, not least because you were 2-1 already. My objection to your position is different to this. My position is that it's different to the debate you were having. I think this is the accrual of powers to state servants, of powers that they wanted to have anyway. And I think that the police in lots of countries, who never saw a power that they didn't like, wanted to have this sort of authority. And COVID is the kind of premise or pretext on which they've gained it. And you may like it now because you're so concerned about coronavirus, and I understand it.
Necessary.
But I think well, that's always the claim of the tyrant. And my fear...
Or Boris Johnson.
And my fear is that in the end, you will really not like the outcomes of a state that has as much control as you're currently encouraging.
Go and live in North Korea. That's all you've got to do.
I mean, that's just...
Let's end at that.
Well, they've got low COVID.
Jordan Neeson, Benjamin Butterworth, Alex Dean, do stand by.